Welcome to my orientation tonight. This is Diana calling you from Dallas, Texas, and I am the owner and founder of TopShelf Brand Builders. We've been in business for about 10 years, and we've got a long list of people that we've worked for, what we call suppliers, people who produce or sell wine, beer, and spirits. We've been doing it all across the state of Texas. And we've got a really good reputation as probably the best company, mainly because we go out, we do a good job. In other words, you do a good job. You represent us when you're out in the field. We like to pay people on a real regular basis. And since we've started our company, we've always paid our brand builders on a weekly basis. We've never missed a payment, okay? And we have really good products and people that tend to be very, very loyal to us, who have been with us as clients for, 7, 6, 7, 8 years. So we've got a really good reputation. So you've signed on with a good company tonight. By the time we finish this orientation, you're going to know exactly what our expectations are. You're going to feel real comfortable about going out there in the field and representing our company. And if you don't, then you're going to have lots of opportunities to ask questions and to get situated. The most important thing we want for you is to feel comfortable so that you can go out there and have fun, because when you're comfortable, you have fun, you're going to be more effective, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with taking a visit here to our website. This is our website, Top Shelf Brand Builders. And I'm going to go to About Us. And the reason I like to go here is to highlight the third paragraph. The third paragraph says, "We choose the term brand builders for a reason. Our focus is on the bottom line, emphasizing sales. Brand builders are expected to be an extension of the sales force and are educated to value and enhance business relationships in order to support and build brands in the marketplace." Brand builders are paid weekly and are dedicated to expanding their product knowledge, sales skills, and sales results. Our expectations are high. Now, obviously, this paragraph applies to you. When suppliers or potential clients come to the website, they're going to read that paragraph and they're going to say, wow, these people are serious about what they're doing. If I choose to do business with them, then they're going to make sure that the people that are out there representing my brand are doing a good job. We call you brand builders instead of ambassadors because your role in the process is very important. You've got a lot of different channels, marketing channels, sales channels that a product goes through to get to the shelf in a supermarket or in a liquor store or wherever it may be, okay? There's the supplier, there's the distributor, there's the retailer, and then there's you. Of all those people, you are the one that is interacting directly and most often with the consumer. Therefore, you are the one that has the most influence, and you're going to be the one that's most influential on whether that person decides to buy a product or not. So in my opinion, you're probably the most important channel, because all these things happen, but when what it comes down to is the person actually selecting a product, taking it home to share, to drink with their friends, their family, whatever it may be. Okay? So your role is very, very important. And that's why I say you're an extension of the sales process, because you're the one that actually puts it in their hand. Make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's go on. We're going to go to our approach. We like to use the 3 E's: educate, entertain, and engage. And really, if you go out and you kind of approach what you're doing out there in the stores with the 3 E's in mind, then you should be successful. Okay? First of all, educate. And in order to educate people about a particular product that you're presenting, you must first educate yourself. And we are going to provide you all kinds of resources, all kinds of places to go to, all kinds of information to make sure that you have more than enough information to pick up 5 to 10 good talking points so that you can share them with the consumer when you get out there. Okay? Entertain. When we say entertain, really what we're talking about here is whether it's a special event, an on-premise promotion, or an in-store sampling. All events at our company are called performances. A performer entertains, and when they do it well, they make a lasting impression. Our goal is to place the spotlight on your brand in a memorable and an entertaining way to increase sales and brand loyalty. So that's what we're talking about when we say entertain. And usually what you'll do is if you follow the steps and kind of our guidelines, keep in mind that you're out there, you're self-managed, you're self-directed, so you're going to do it your way. But what we're going to do is we're going to provide you certain guidelines that we've found have worked throughout the 10 years that we've been doing this. We've kind of got it streamlined, so that we know what works, know what doesn't work, what's most effective, and we're going to share that with you so that you can be as successful as possible. Okay? Now, to engage, when we talk about engage, we talk about actually engaging. Well, here it's just easier to go here. We can't get applause when there's just one hand clapping, and we can't engage a consumer if we are doing all the talking. By creating a dialogue, we learn what we need to know about how and why the consumer makes their purchasing decision. We ask a lot of questions. Better yet, we know what questions to ask. So when you're out there and you've been doing this for a while, what you do is you learn that if you draw the person in and you're a little bit more assertive, you're inviting, you've got a big smile on your face, you're going to draw those people in. And when you do that, you're going to you're going to end up gaining their trust. They're going to end up listening to what you have to say, whether it's you're sharing some product information about, this is a 5-generation family-owned vineyard out of Sonoma County, California. They've been known for their Zinfandels. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon that's new to the market, and the reason this is so good, yada, 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 it goes on. So you get an idea. When you tell them a little bit, get a little story together instead of just saying, would you like to try some wine? And then just going silent and watching them, making them feel uncomfortable because you have nothing else to say. What are the chances they're going to, buy from you? They're going to want to get away from you as soon as possible. So what you want to do is you want to engage, and if there's ever an awkward silence or something like that, you can always give them a compliment. Say, hey, I really like your shoes, I like your blouse, I like your haircut, whatever it may be. What kind of wine do you usually drink? What's your favorite wine? Have you ever been to California? You want to involve them or get them involved in a conversation so that they feel comfortable, and then when they discover that you really do know what you're talking about, they're going to be a lot more likely to take your advice and pick up that bottle of wine, beer, whatever it may be, and take it home with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Okay, so those are the 3 E's. If you kind of follow those, if you ever get flustered, kind of, nervous, or even if it gets really, really slow and you're saying, it's real important for me to be productive with the few people that I sample today, I have to make sure that I get as many of them as possible to buy this wine. If you only sample 20 people, it is possible to sell 40 bottles of wine. If you can sell 2 bottles of wine per person, it means you're doing a really good job. It's because you know what you're talking about. You got your game down, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go to the Brand Builders page. And on the Brand Builders page, we're just going to reemphasize the things that you guys read in the job announcement. We're looking for the best. We really don't settle for less than best because there's always somebody new to come along that we're going to give a chance. If you're not up to our standards, it's just a matter of time before you're going to shake out, okay? You are the backbone of our business. We built our business on you, and we build the brands. You're so important to us that we have to make sure that you're the best we can find. But in order for you to be the best, we're going to help you. We're going to give you information. We're going to, show you how to really maximize the effects of what you're doing out there. Okay, so join us. This is a great part-time job. It's probably the most perfect, most fun part-time job you'll ever have. Why? Because it's extremely flexible. You get to choose when and where you work in the most cases, except when we get really, really desperate, which does happen from time to time. And we may give you a phone call and ask you to maybe go 5-10 miles maybe out of the area that you usually cover just because we're in need of getting something covered and we may not have somebody to do it that day. So we do ask you from time to time to go above and beyond, but for the most part it's very flexible. You get to choose when and where you work, and you get paid really, really well to do it. And best thing of all, in my opinion, is you get to talk about wine. I love wine, and because I love wine and I've learned a little bit, I've got the sommelier experience or the education. I've been able to apply what I know to beer and spirits, and it's a whole fascinating world to me. Some of you may not be that nerdy about it, but what I find is when I really, really enjoy sharing what I know with the consumer, and I am always selling at least my average sales at a demo is about 30 bottles. Okay, so well, how do I do that? Well, you must be friendly and outgoing and comfortable dealing with the public, with the ability to engage and educate consumers about a variety of wine, beer, and spirit brands. Don't worry about knowing it all because we are going to provide you some information, okay? Our shifts usually occur between 11 and 7 p.m. Friday through Sunday and are 3 or 4 hours in duration. Sometimes we have special events that are day events, trade shows, things like that, so you may find work opportunities in that area as well. But TopShelf brand builders must be reliable, punctual, organized, friendly and outgoing, knowledgeable about featured brands, and over the age of 21. You have to be over the age of 21 because by law, TABC, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, says you must purchase the product that you're sampling at the point of, or at the retail location you're sampling from, or before you sample it. So it's real important that you're 21 because if you're not 21, you can't buy it, right? And that's why we have that 21. We know that there's a lot of people out there that are 18, 20, 19 years old that would do a great job, but until they're 21, they just can't work for us for that reason, okay? You have to, go ahead.
It's illegal.
It's illegal because you can't purchase product until you're 21,
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we say reliable, what we're talking about is the way we do things is you're going to have a chance to tour our event management system. It's online, and what you do is you go through, you see all the work opportunities listed, and you bid on the ones that you're interested in working. Okay? When you bid upon those, what happens is your name, as well as everybody else who has bid on that same event, goes to our field coordinator, which in your case is Pam Mylan, and she selects from that list the best person to work the job. Once she selects and confirms that with someone, it goes off the radar. Okay? It's like a hotel room. You can only rent it once, right, per night. So if I call and I make a reservation for a hotel room and I don't make my cancellation by 6 p.m., they're going to charge me anyway. Why? Because it's gone off the radar and nobody else can rent that hotel room, right? So it's the same kind of process here. Once we assign you an event, it goes off the radar and other people do not see it and cannot bid on it. So it's real important that you follow through once you've been confirmed, okay? When we're talking reliable, we also want you to have reliable transportation because you need to get to where you're going. We need to be able to know that you're going to make it on time, and you're going to do a good job, okay? Punctual. When punctual means arriving no less than 15 minutes prior to your start time. Earlier is fine, but later is not fine, okay? So you can arrive 30 minutes early. If you're the kind of person that moves slow and it takes you 5-10 minutes longer to go into line to get your setup done, to get your bottles purchased, all that, then you know that you're going to have to give yourself more time. Other people, they can go in there, they can get set up in 10 minutes, and they can be ready to start right on time, okay? So it's all, it's you're self-directed, you're going to make that decision, but we really want you to be there checking in no later than 15 minutes prior to your start time. That's what we mean by punctual. Organized, you're going to have to submit receipts. You're going to have to take your ComData card with you, which is a card that we issue you, and I will give you more details about that later. You're going to have to submit written as well as online reports. It's just a few pieces of paperwork, but if you're organized, it's no big deal. And if you're organized, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to be saying, oh, I did it, but I lost my receipt. Well, I can't pay you if you lost your receipt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the amount of the sample product out of your pay, and we don't want that to happen. We want everybody to get the money that they've earned. So please be organized and have everything in order. Friendly and outgoing, that's a must. You can't be shy and introverted and be successful at this work. You have to be smiling at people, talking to them. I happen to have a life what I call a lifeguard's voice, because I was a lifeguard when I was young, so I can project and I can invite people that are probably 50 yards away to come and sample, without sounding like I'm yelling. But the more people that can hear you, the more people you smile at, the more people you invite up and to partake, the more successful you're going to be. So you have to be friendly and outgoing. You have to be knowledgeable about featured brands. In some cases, if you're friendly and outgoing enough, it doesn't matter what you know. But I can tell you, if somebody comes up and asks you a question, you want to have at least the basics covered. We don't expect you to have a Master of Wine sommelier or a degree from UC Davis in California, but we do expect you to know more than the average consumer. Okay? Okay, over here, top shelf brand builders must have daily email access, your own cell phone, a digital camera, and these can be one and the same. If you have a good camera on your phone, great. Reliable transportation, as I said before, a TABC server certification, which are easy to get. You have to do it every 2 years. We all have to go through the torture of getting ours renewed every 2 years, including me. But once you get it, it's just like $17 to $20. It's good for 2 years. You're good to go. Why? Because retailers ask for this to make sure that you are not going to serve anyone under the age of 21. You're not going to serve anyone that's intoxicated, and it gives them a little additional protection. It also gives us a little bit of protection. So we like people to have this server certification. You need to have access to a scanner or fax machine. We prefer for you to, when you're sending your receipts and your written reports in, to scan them and email them to us. So that's why we ask for you to have a scanner. But should something happen to your scanner, or should you not have one, you can also use a photographed image of your receipt as long as it is legible. We can see the date, we can see the products listed on there, and all that stuff, okay? So we need to have some kind of visible physical image of the receipt and your written report, and that's why we say you have to have a scanner. Forget the fax machine. That's way, way old. I mean, that's old technology. You should probably take it off the website there. Okay? So we're going to move on, and I'm going to show you here. This is the page you're going to come back to when we finish, because this is where you're going to come to log in to the demodate.com. You're going to log in right through here, through this existing brand builder login, and when you do that, it's going to take you to the portal where it says demodate.com. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you quickly a quick tour of how it works so that you can go in here, you can bid on work opportunities, you can do your reporting, all that good stuff. Okay, so that's what this is about. I'm going to log in right now as a brand builder so that you're going to see I'm going to share my view of a brand builder with what you're going to see when you log in. Okay, so here, just to cover this real quick, the announcements, this is the portal through which everyone that comes to demodate.com enters. So whether it's a supplier, a retailer, an administrator, or a brand builder, we all come through this door, okay? So this is a good place for us to put announcements that we want everybody to see, okay? These do change from time to time. They tend to stay the same, but if we see regular patterns out there of people kind of making the same either the same mistakes or they're running into the same issues, whatever, we're going to address it here in the announcements. We also announce our incentive winners here. So if you're ever, and we do that often, we, for example, Christmas time, we'll say the #1 seller of Freshnet sparkling wine for the month of November is going to get an extra $100, something like that. We do incentives, and this is where we announce the winners. Okay? If you ever have issues getting into the portal, you're going to go to this link where it says need help or support. Goes to the same place, okay? Need help, you're going to send an email that's going to go to my brother, Ron, who developed the system, and he's usually really, really good at getting back to you. So if you have any issues logging in, send an email here and he will help you. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to enter, and when I enter, my calendar is going to pop up. You're going to see here, this is a Welcome Diana Offit. Notice it has my name on it. That means everything that's on this calendar applies to me, not to anybody else, okay? So what I see is I see unassigned events and I see confirmed events. If you have a confirmed event on your calendar, it is your event, okay? Let's make that real clear. So it's your responsibility to come in, to log in, to see what's going on your calendar. If you see you have something confirmed, you know that that's your event. Not only do you see confirmed on this page, but when you bid on the event and you are assigned to it, you are going to get an automatic email. Okay, so you're going to get an automatic email sent to you. It's going to tell you to check in. Okay, don't rely only on the auto alert. You want to come here, you want to log in and see what's going on. Why? Because you're going to get special instructions and more details when you log in. Okay, now real quickly, thing I want to point out here is my profile over here to the far right. I currently have both of you guys all ready to log in tonight. Once we're finished, I've already set you up. But what you want to do is when you come into this page is go to your profile and update all the information that is there. Okay, the information is your email that you have given us for your registration, first name, last name, address, the address to which you want anything mailed, your phone number. You have the option here of also getting your auto alerts on confirmations via your phone. If you would like to set that up, you're going to do that here via your mobile phone and your carrier. If you give us that information, you will also get an auto alert via your phone. Okay. Over here, you're going to, if you want to change your password, because it's going to start out being simply your first name, all lowercase. If you want to change that to something that's regular, that you can remember, then you're going to go to update your password here. Okay. Location preferences. What this is actually just a list of zip codes, and what it does is it allows you to when you add a zip code here, it allows you to kind of narrow the focus of what you see on your calendar. Right now you're going to see El Paso, you're going to see Houston, Dallas, you're going to see all of Texas. If you want to narrow that scope so that you only see the things that are in your city or in your area, then you can add the zip codes, okay? But I do encourage you to wait until you're really, really familiar with the travel patterns and the locations that we do, because you could miss a work opportunity by just a couple of blocks if you, for some reason you fail to put in one zip code, okay? So you have to make sure you've got all the zip codes and you're doing that right before you do it. Now obviously Lubbock, maybe there's 15, 20 zip codes, that's it, or maybe even less. I don't know. In El Paso, I think they have like 5 zip codes. So I know West Texas, you don't have that many, so you could probably do this.
There's about 15 in Lubbock.
Okay, so if you know what all those 15 are, then that's what you're going to see. Now, what's bad about that, though, it gets really lonely, because you don't get to see, you can see like, oh, Lubbock's going to get work like every 3 weeks, and it's going to look like nothing's going on. But if you leave everything wide open, you're going to see, oh, they're doing 200 events in Houston this week, or 300 events in Dallas, or whatever. People tend to ignore West Texas a lot. I know, I lived in West Texas in El Paso, and we just don't get the respect that the major markets get. Okay, but we are starting to get more, so keep that in mind. Managed certifications, that's your TABC. You're going to give us the information on that, and your required forms. Just real quick, we've recently automated this. This is all your new hire or new contractor paperwork. Your direct deposits, if you want the payment to go directly into your bank account, which is the best way to do it, you're going to give us that information here. Your ComData card agreement, which we're going to go over in greater detail later. Your independent contractor agreement, your release form for photographic image, because we get your reports, we get your photographs, we do need to use them from time to time, and your W-9. Okay, all that information you're going to complete right there. Okay, so let's go back. And notice when I navigate, I'm always simply just going back. That's the best way to get back to where you came from. Now, notice on my calendar here I have dates under, or unassigned events under the date. I can go here and I can see, okay, well, what is this that's unassigned? I can see this is a spec store in Houston. I can see when, where, what, the brands, Spanish wines. I can see that this is a reschedule, okay? Whatever. If I see this and I want to work it, I'm going to bid on it. Okay, you see that bid? That's how that works. Let me go back and show you from this view. Okay, so that's by date. Here, you can do it by geographical location. So here I can go to Lubbock. I see there's 2 events currently open, one on the 18th, one on the 4th, and I can see that it's at Market Street. I can see the address. I can see the products that are to be demonstrated, and I have my special instructions. It's very important that you read your special instructions. BB must call to confirm event Tuesday prior to the event so that wine department will order product. You must call. Please arrive no later than 12:45. In this case, it should be, say, 3:45. I have to update that. But basically, it's 15 minutes before your start time. And this is a great portfolio, always sells well. Average units sold at Market Street stores are in excess of 24 bottles. I'm just telling you, give you a little information so you know what to shoot for. Okay? So if you like that, you're going to bid on it. And when you bid on it, your name is sent, along with everybody else's who has bid on it, to Pam. She's going to go through. She's going to say who's the best match, or maybe you're the only one that's bid on it. But whatever it may be, she's going to assign it after that. Okay? When she assigns it, you get a confirmation email, automatic. You do not reply to it. It's a do not reply. It's just telling you you have been assigned. Go in, check in your emails, and see what's going on. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is, okay, so I bid on my event. I've been confirmed. Now what happens? What happens is you go to your confirmed event. So here. So I've been confirmed for Medallion Liquor on the 20th from 4 to 7. Okay. So what I do is I go over here. I see that there's no special instructions, mainly because I assign this to myself and I know what's going on. But I've got my regional manager, Pam. I've got her phone number here. I've got the phone number to the store. I've got all the information I need, you know, so that I can make my advance call. And we usually ask you to make a call Wednesday, the week of your demo, just to make sure everything's on track, that they're expecting you, that they've got the stuff or the inventory on hand, or that they're going to be getting it into the store. All that. It's just a courtesy call to make sure everything's on track. Okay. What I do after that is I view my printable AAR form, and this is your report form. This is what we're going to ask you, the information that we're asking for you to submit to us in order to get paid. Okay. Keep in mind that this one you can print out, and when you print it out, I would wait until before my event, because if anything changes, it's going to be reflected on here. So if say the products change or something like that, maybe I change it, the morning of, and so you want to make sure you always have the current copy of this before you print it out. What you do is you print it out, and you use this as your worksheet. You take it out there, you can scribble on it, you can spill wine on it, it can be crumpled, it doesn't have to be pretty, don't worry about it, because what you're going to do is use this as your worksheet and then transfer all the information that's on here to your online report form that looks exactly the same. It's the mirror image, okay? Let me go over this real quickly. We've got the time, the date, my name, the location, the product, the traffic flow. Okay, store manager's name, real important that you get complete names, because often we get calls from the field saying your person didn't show up, or there's confusion or whatever. If I have a name of the person that you spoke to at the store, full name, Bob Jones, whatever it may be, that really goes. I can respond right away and say, no, my brand builder was there. It's confirmed with Bob Jones. She was there from 4 to 7, and la da 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 da. Okay. If I have, Susie, I think, question mark, who's Susie? I mean, is she the manager? Is she somebody that works in the store? Was she another demonstrator? It's real important that you get your good store contact names here. Okay. Traffic flow, low, medium, high. That's basically how many people were in the store. Was it crowded or was it empty? Demo location. This means within the store. Was your location good, bad, or excellent? Method of payment, most often it's going to be your Comdata card, especially in the Market Street stores. We have no issues with them being processed or transactions being processed via the Comdata card in most major grocery chains. There will be times when you go out to maybe smaller independently owned liquor stores, places like that, where they cannot read the Comdata card, in which case you must be prepared to pay for the product yourself and get reimbursed. Why? Because by law, TABC says, remember, that samples must be purchased in advance prior to the sampling at the store at which they're being sampled. Okay, so it's by law, you have to make sure that samples are paid for. If they don't read the com data card, you have to have uh, a way to pay for that product. And so we require everybody, when they go out, to be prepared to have a plan B just in case for some reason that com data card can't be read or doesn't work, that you be prepared to pay for it, in which case you will be reimbursed. And you simply mark this here, reimburse, and you are reimbursed on your very next check. Okay? So here, account or rep, sometimes you're going to a special event. The wine's supplied, you don't have to buy it, or the rep perhaps buys it. You don't have to pay for it. So you're going to select that one. Okay? A unit is defined here. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm going to just tell you quickly. A unit is whatever the purchase product is on the receipt. So if it's a 6-pack and you buy a 6-pack and the unit price on the receipt is $6.99, that is your unit. If it's a 12-pack, has 12 bottles in it, but it rings up on your receipt as a 12-pack, then that's a unit. If it's a bottle, then that's a unit. If it's a gift pack that has 2 bottles, that's a unit. So just remember, however it's listed on the receipt, that is the unit that you're measuring. You want to start out with how many units you have on hand. I don't expect you guys to go back into the warehouse and to count everything that's in the store. I want you to do a quick review of the store, a quick count. How many do you have? How many do you see? You're going to put that on, here on hand. You're going to tell us roughly how many people you invite. It doesn't have to be exact again. Samples poured. I suggest you count your cups prior, count your cups after. You know exactly how many samples you poured. How many units you use for sampling. In the case of wine, it's going to be 1 unit. In most cases, 1 bottle of wine. I expect you to get 50 to 60 samplings from 1 bottle. That's how many I get. There's 25 ounces in a bottle. You should be pouring less than a half an ounce, really, in for every sampling, because if you're pouring more, they're getting more than they need or they're throwing it away. So you should be able to get 50 to 75 samples out of 1 bottle. If you
I get 53.
53?
53 or 54.
Yeah, exactly. So really, and especially if you're sampling 3 different products, there's no reason you should have to do more than 1 bottle unless you're sampling more than 100 people. Okay? And if you're sampling more than 100 people, then you should be selling, 3 cases at least. You should be selling a lot more. My ratio averages, looking at everybody across the board for the past 10 years, you should be able to sell no less than 1 in every 3 people. Okay? So sometimes the price has an effect on that. If it's something that's $25, $30, it's gonna be a little bit harder to sell. So that ratio may go up to 1 in 5 or 1 in 6. But for, say, an average $10 bottle of wine, you should be selling at least 1 in every 3 people. And my best brand builders sell 1 to 1, or 1 to 2, or sometimes it even goes the other way because they're selling multiple bottles to a lot of different people. So if they sell 4 or 5, 6 bottles to 1 person, it goes the other way. Okay? So units sold, price per unit that appears on your receipt. This is the information we're looking for. We want your comments. We want you to paint a picture of what's going on in the store because you are the eyes and ears for the supplier. They want to know, was the store crowded? Did the people like the wine? Was there a good atmosphere? Were you treated well? Were they happy you were there? Or did they treat you, were they rude? Whatever it may be. Just give us a good little recap of what you encountered when you went there. Any comments from your department manager, especially if they're good, we like to give you kudos. Bonuses are based on this kind of information. If, for example, you go into a store and for some reason it's a really slow day, you only have, you only sample 15 or 20 people, but you sell 10 bottles, I'm going to look at it and say, 10 bottles, what's going on? I'm going to go back in, I'm going to say, oh, I see. She only sampled 20 people. So, ratio, it's not too bad because she actually has a pretty good ratio. And this is the kind of thing that I point out to my suppliers when they say, why were the sales so low? You go back, first thing you look at is how many people were there, how many were sampled, what was going on. Was it during a Dallas Cowboys football game? Or, the Olympics are coming up. You're going to be doing demos. Maybe the Olympics are going on, and people don't go shopping. They want to stay home and watch the Olympics. Or maybe it's a beautiful day outside and everybody's out at the lake, or everybody's outside. Whatever it may be, you want to put us the reason. Give us a good idea of why you sold or did not sell well. Okay, what could have been better? If there's a better time, sometimes you have multiple samplings going on at the same time. It would have been better if there hadn't been 3 other people sampling, the same varietal of wine at the same time, some at a cheaper price. One was selling at $8.99 and blah, 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 whatever it may be. I don't expect you to spend a lot of time filling out these reports. Just give us some vital information, some good statistics, and get on with it. And then here's some demographic information. You guys are smart. You can figure this out. Okay. We're going to go, we're almost finished. So now you know what to do with all that stuff. We're going to go over here. Compensation report is simply a list of stuff. It's going to tell you what we've paid, basically. Okay? So this is kind of your summary of your work history with us. It's going to tell you your event, your date, your time. If you had to pay for something, your reimbursement's going to appear here. Your bonus is going to appear here. Your event fee is going to appear here. Now, when we talk about pay, your base, everybody gets a base of $45 an hour, but anybody that's worth anything is going to make no less than $60 an event. The reason I start at $45 an event is because if I hire somebody new and they're not effective and they're not very good, they go out, they sell 3 bottles of wine, and I hire you and you're new, and you go out and you sell $23 or 23 bottles of wine, I want to be able to tell them you're only getting 45 because I'm giving this person that did such a much better job 60. That's why I do it. People say I only work for $20 an hour, and if I can't get $20 an hour, then I don't want to work. I say okay, then don't work. But the fact is, if you're good and if you're consistently good, I'm going to take into consideration if you have a bad day. But if you're consistently good and all that good stuff, you should never have to worry about making less than $20 an hour. Okay? So if I hold back $5, say I only pay you $55, I'm sending a message, and I do it based on patterns all the way across the board. So it's not based on who you are, it's based on what's going on, what store you're demoing, what product you're demoing, the history in that store, and what I think you should be able to do. Okay? If you're a little bit low, I may hold back $5, but usually not much more than that. Okay? If I pay you only $45, that means I'm not really happy with your performance that day. Okay?
So it's 45 for the event itself.
45 for the event itself. If you do a good job, you show up on time, you make some reasonable sales, then it's going to be 20. And it's going to waver between there and there. If I hold back 5, it's because I'm trying to tell you something. Okay? If you ever have any issues, you can call and we can discuss it. But basically, I'm of the opinion that everybody else in this industry is rewarded based on sales, so I think demonstrators should be too. I've gone out and I can sit. It gives you incentive to engage with people, to do a good job. If I go out and I'm having a bad day and it doesn't matter how many people I talk to or how much I sell, then I'm not going to push myself that little extra effort. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then, okay, the next thing we're going to look at here is the new contractor files and library. 3 links here. The first link, or the last link here on the bottom, how to complete an event report reference file. Really, my brother is just very wordy. It's how to complete a damn report, okay? How to complete a report. If you have any issues on completing your report, just go in here and there's a video and there's also a slideshow presentation on how to complete the report. It's not rocket science. Hopefully you won't have any issues, okay? The second one, Bibo Beverage Institute and Files. Bibo is Latin for I drink, and this is what I've called our little library here. And what we've done is we've compiled a lot of information throughout the years on different things. We've got wine brand, specific brand information. We do a lot of Alexander Valley. We do Bogle. We do Winte. We do all this stuff. These are all sales sheets on those products. Some of them are, like here I have a certification exam. It's a little test that I do on a Portuguese wine that we sample. We've got slideshows on wines from France. We've got a Loire sales sheet. We've got lots of stuff on Precept, Ribera, whatever. This is all just information. This is your library, okay? This is great. This is a brand new, The Calling. It's a new line from W.J. Deutsch, and it's a presentation. So we put YouTubes on here. We put slideshows on here. We put recorded presentations on here, all kinds of stuff for you guys to access for information. Usually what I'll do is excuse me?
Diana, how'd you get to this right here?
I'll show you when we back out, but it's basically the link that's under New Contractor Files. New Contractor Files on your calendar. You can see it to the right, okay? Okay, so here we've got wine general information. If you know a lot about wine, but you really don't know that much about Chianti, you can go in here and look at Chianti and Sangiovese. Chianti, the dominant grape in Chianti is Sangiovese. So it's kind of one and the same. That's why they have them together. But here you can go to discover a little information about the grape, where it's grown, where it originated. This information alone, if you just know this, you are going to know everything you need to know about sampling the product. All you have to do after this is put the specific brand on top of it and learn a couple things about why that particular brand is special. Okay, but basically, if you can get a good solid foundation on your wine, the studying of the brands becomes less important because people know when you go in there. Like me, I've got enough information. I've got a good solid wine foundation. I could go in there blind at the last minute, and if I know it's a Chianti, I already know. Okay, the difference Chianti Classico. Pretty much what makes up the wine, that kind of stuff, so I can talk like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, here taste. This tells you different or typical taste profiles. Chianti when it's young tastes a certain way. Chianti when it's aged a while changes. But these are giving you the classic taste profiles of a Chianti, and then it gives you suggested pairings. And this is always good, because you can ask people, what are you having for dinner? May I suggest Chianti if you're going to have blah, 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 blah. Or maybe they haven't yet decided what they're going to have for dinner, which happens a lot when I'm out there. And so I can say, well, let me tell you what. You buy this bottle of wine, I'm going to tell you what to go and pair with it. Go get your spaghetti and meatballs, get your whatever it may be, your nice steak. You know what I'm talking about. So let's go back. See here where I am, calendar, right over here where it says New Contractor Files and Library.
Oh, okay.
That's where you're going to go for these 3 links, and you got your Bibo Beverage Institute files here. Okay.
Okay.
Now on the bottom, I've got stuff like sales tips. I've got a good basic beer 101. I've got a good basic wine 101. I've got all kinds of Don Q, whatever. You're going to explore this at your own, whenever you want, on your own time, because now that you have your password and your login, you can come here anytime, 24/7, okay, and look at it and see what's going on here. Oops. Okay, so I think that's about it. What you're going to do now is you're going to go, okay, wait a minute. We're not. Go back in. So remember, when you come back to this page, you're going to go to Brand Builder Login.
We can't do it here, though, can we?
Well, you can't. Wait until we're finished. You can, but wait until. There we go. Okay, so it kicked me out, but I'll go right back in. And here, just one last thing I wanted to show you. If I can get back in here. Wait a minute. I want to sign in as a brand builder. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you here is the contractor reference files and documents. This is the last thing that we're going to cover. And it's how to use the COM data card. This is a little bit of information. You're going to, once you send us your completion code, which you're going to get after you finish this second part where it says new hire orientation, it's a 25-slide presentation on what to do when you're actually on site. It's going to cover things like what we suggest you wear. It's going to talk about kit, what to keep in your kit. It does have ABCO on it because we haven't updated yet, but don't worry about it. The information's still the same, still good. And it's kind of just takes you through a little refresher. Again, this will always be accessible, so if you ever want to review it, you can. But when you get to the last slide on this presentation, there's going to be a completion code. And that completion code is going to tell us that you have completed this part of the orientation, part 2, and that you're ready to go to work. Okay, so when you go there, you're going to email us information, and on your this session it has a materials page. That materials page has contact information for everybody at ABCO, which is basically 3 people that you need to be concerned with. Me, Pam Mylan, who's your field coordinator, Amy Nelson, who is the administrator that processes your payments, your reports, and your checks and all that good stuff. All that contact information is on that materials page, which you should be able to access. Print that out and you'll have it with you. So at this point, all you have to do is go through, do the second part of this new hire orientation, get your completion code, email it to all of us, and we know that you're ready to go to work. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So any questions at this point? No? Okay. I think I have covered everything. If you do think of something, you're welcome to send me an email, or you can save it for Pam, who will be reaching out to you. I would suggest that if you don't make contact with her soon enough, you're always welcome to take the initiative and reach out for her. Okay? She likes people who are eager to get to go to work, so that's not a negative thing if you give her a call.
I called her today already.
Okay, good. Well, you're really eager. You called her before you even did the orientation.
All I got was a message, so I left a message.
Okay. Well, keep in mind that
we can log in now?
You're ready to log in.
Teresa from Lubbock, too? Is Teresa from Lubbock also? No.
No, I've got Lubbock. I think I've got Fran Perry. Can you hear me, Fran?
Yeah, I'm the one talking so much.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
I'm a talker.
Well, it tells me you have left.
Pardon?
It says it just told me that you left. Weird.
No, I didn't leave. Oh, I left the
phone.
I left the training thing, but I'm still on the phone.
Okay.
Is that okay
good.
that I left the training?
No, that's fine. Okay.
No,
so everybody's good. I'm going to stop the recording now, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks for joining me tonight.